terrifying sound. Headphones on for this one, everyone. We're going to kick things off with a very scary sound. This clip in the video is only 20 or so seconds long, but the content is the stuff of nightmares. It was recorded within the home of somebody living in Philadelphia on the 10th of February 2007. According to the text added in towards the start of the video, the uploader, Don Garvey, claims that the homeowner had heard some strange noises coming from the basement of the house throughout the middle of the night. They placed a microphone in the basement the following night to record anything that might have been down there. 3 long days passed and nothing was heard or caught on the tape. On the 3rd night, however, something extremely scary was recorded. Before the sound plays, the uploader comments that while the sound has been amplified by 20 times the original volume, nothing has been done to edit the video. Take a listen, but warning, what you're about to hear is disturbing. Guttural bellows and screams can be heard coming from the basement, a strange combination of what sounds like a human and a wild animal. Noises that you would expect to come from a pig or even an elephant are present in the video, but there is a very uniquely human quality to them. The sounds are almost identical to the stereotypical noises made by demons from both folklore and popular media, and are very unsettling to say the least. So what do you think? Is it a ghost, a demon, an animal, a person playing a trick, or something else entirely? Is this family home haunted to the max? What do you think? Michael's haunted house. Let's take a look at a video that claims to show real paranormal activity caught on camera. This video was uploaded to YouTube 12 years ago by a user by the name of Michael DiMaggi. It starts with the text that introduces the video. Recently my brother has been claiming that our house is haunted, Michael says. At first I didn't believe him, but upon filming one of the events, I have been convinced. Michael has compiled some of the clips into a 7-minute video to show these happenings to the world. After showing some shots of his house, Michael records a quick conversation with presumably his brother, who says that he believes a ghost is present in the house. He has supposedly heard noises and has seen things moving around on their own in his house. The video then cuts to a shot of a room with a wooden chair pulled up against a desk. Michael's camera points towards it, when the chair, seemingly on its own, shoots across the room to the right. Understandably spooked, he quickly runs away. As the video continues, Michael sets up more cameras throughout his house, in what appears to be the living room. A small orb can be seen drifting across the camera, before fading away into the night. The following night, the same chair can be seen drifting across the floor in the living room once again, seemingly on its own. He wakes up the next morning to see the chair far from where he left it. Take a look at these clips. So what do you think? Michael addresses the idea that it does look like a prank or a setup in the video, which is something that is always a possibility. That being said, his reaction looks genuine and the videos are pretty creepy. Is this a haunted house and true paranormal activity caught on camera, or just clever camera trickery? What do you think? The Beast of Bladenboro. On the night of December 31st, 1953, just as the residents of the North Carolina town of Bladenboro were preparing to bring in the new year, a local man by the name of Johnny Vorse encountered something truly disturbing. Late at night, Johnny was awoken by a sound around the back of the house and went to go and check on his 2 dogs. To his shock and dismay, both of his beloved hounds had been killed by an unknown assailant, torn to shreds near their kennels. A grisly duo of deaths that only a large animal could cause. Across the course of the next few days, the attacks would continue, seemingly made by the same creature. Across the first week of 1954, 6 dogs, a pet rabbit, and even a goat were killed. All of the carcasses were discovered in terrible states. Bones were crushed, flesh was torn, and blood spilled everywhere. What could have caused this? The animal may have been spotted a few days before the first death. In fact, on the 29th of December 1953, a dog was found killed in a similar manner to those that met their end in Bladenboro, and the assailant was seen running away from the attack as it happened. The animal that killed the dog was said to be 5 feet long, jet black and sleek. Other eyewitness reports in Bladenboro would describe it as much smaller with bushy fur, almost like a small bear. In some circumstances, it was even seen with what was presumed to be a baby alongside it. Some reported to hear a noise like a crying baby just before the dogs were killed, presumed to have been produced by the attacking animal, but it was only ever seen in passing glimpses. Most of the witness reports tended to describe the animal as cat-like. In some cases, it was supposedly similar to a bobcat. In others, it was more like a large mountain lion. These reports were inconsistent and did little to help the residents understand what had killed their dogs. The hunt for the animal began on the night of January 3rd, when Roy Fors, the chief of police in Bladenboro, took his dog out to search for the attacker. Alarmingly, the dogs refused to follow the scent and acted fearful when Roy tried to encourage them. Over the course of the next few days, over 800 people took to the woods and swamps looking for the animal that had terrorized the town, who were joined by another 800 on January 7th. These hunting parties were unsuccessful. The only potential success of these hunts came from a man named Luther Davis, who on the 13th of January trapped and shot a bobcat. When he contacted the papers, however, he was met with skepticism that an animal of relatively small stature could have inflicted such wounds on the dogs that were killed. To this day, no single species has been narrowed down and named for the attacks. The nature of the wounds and the reported size of the animal would lead many to believe that a bear or mountain lion were responsible, but some have considered coyotes or even pantherine cats, such as leopards and jaguars, that had possibly escaped from private collections or zoos. Others believe it was some kind of mythical creature. It's a strange tale, and one that still needs explaining. What do you think happened? Haunted Kitchen. The origins of this video are unknown, but it's a surprising watch, even if it isn't the scariest out of today's selections. This video begins with a man recording himself working in his kitchen, presumably recording a DIY tutorial as he prepares materials on the counter. Behind him can be seen a series of cupboards, and he faces away from them as he talks to the camera. It starts like any other video, as the man talks to the camera and works away. Suddenly, however, a static-like sound starts to build up in the background. Dissonant and eerie, the distortion builds for several seconds until an open cupboard door behind the man slams itself shut, seemingly on its own. Startled, the man turns around to check what has happened, and the door is alarmingly closed. He does not appear to hear the static fuzz as it builds up. It's a strange video, and we do not have much information on it, but what does it show? Could this be a real poltergeist caught on camera, or is this a simple piece of camera trickery? What do you think? Possession. We'll end on a very creepy video that speaks for itself, uploaded by YouTuber user Simon Woods in May 2023. It starts relatively placidly, depicting what seems to be a middle-aged woman lying in her bed with her arms crossed over her body. There are multiple people present in the dingy-looking room, and a man, presumably the one holding the camera, speaks to her in Spanish, calmly and slowly, about the power of God and repentance. The conversation, whilst remaining calm, takes a sinister turn when the man asks the woman, "How long do you suffer?" She replies by telling the man that she has been suffering since the age of 3, from a curse passed on to her by her father. She claims to be very sick and continuously praises God as the man asks her further questions. The woman is so calm that the man even claims that she doesn't look sick and that she is full of kindness. Things take a turn for the worst around 2.5 minutes in, when the woman begins to vacantly stare up at the ceiling. No longer does she make eye contact with the man, and her responses become blunt and aggressive. In a stark contrast to the conversation she was having just a few seconds ago, the woman begins to accuse the man of being egotistical and exploitative. Around 4 minutes in, the woman starts swearing at the man and begins to convulse and thrash in her bed. Her face contorts, and she even begins frothing at the mouth as she violently fights against a seemingly unknown force taking over her body. The woman seems to attempt to repel whatever is taking over her by questioning it, flipping back and forth between desperation and aggression for a grueling 10 minutes. In this time, the man attempts to bring her back to reality by reciting prayers and encouraging her to return to Christ, but the exorcism seems to have little effect. Take a look at the video.
Κοντά τα χέρια σου. Κοντά τα χέρια σου, σατανά. Έχεις εξουσία και τα κάνεις αυτά. Έχεις εξουσία. Αυτό είναι το πρόσωπό σου. Αυτό είναι το πρόσωπό σου. Νομίζεις ότι εγώ θα σε αφήσω να κάνεις δουλειά μέχρι και η ψυχή μου να βγει, θα υπηρετώ το Χριστό μου.
Τι πάτε στο Πατάπιο.
Τις 9 του μηνός θα πάει στον Άγιο Πατάπιο.
Εσύ να με εμπιστούσαι.
As you can see, it ends with a black title card that simply states, "Sadly, part 2 was never aired because her mother changed her mind about it and didn't let them." We may never know who this woman is or what became of her, but we do know it is incredibly creepy. What do you make of it? So that's it for this video. We hope you're enjoying the Creepy Marathon month, and we'll see you right back here tomorrow for your daily dose of scary content.